2021 Toronto real estate market ended with 24% average sold price increase. Will the market continue its frenzy in 2022? Hi, my name is Priscilla. I'm your real estate broker in the Greater Toronto area. Today, let's together look at the last Market Watch report for the year past. So like usual, I use two charts. The big one is December's performance, and the smaller chart is 1 month before in November. So when we compare the big chart to the smaller one, we see month over month change. Together, we study 5 parameters. Under each one of them, you see a percentage. That's the year-over-year comparison. So when we compare with the same period last year, what the change would be. Let's first look at the most interesting number and the one that everybody pays most attention. That's the average sold price across the whole property types in GTA. So last number of this year, it's 1.157 million. So this number is a slight drop from November, which was 1.16 million. However, don't forget the 1.16 million was the historical high. Okay, so this is only a very minor adjustment. And don't forget, there is seasonality. So typically, December is a month that the price is moderate. So if we see the comparison against same period last year, you will see actually this month in December, the year-over-year increase is more significant than November, which is 24%, and November was only 22%. Okay, so this is a remarkable ending average sold price. The reason of property price increase we discussed for many months is the severe shortage of supply. But December's active listing hit the historical low. So if we look at the active listing, you can see that we dropped almost 60% over last December 2020. We only have slightly over 3,000 available properties for sale. I have never seen such a low inventory. And when you look at the months of inventory, you can see across the whole GTA, we only have half months inventory left. So it means that using the same sales speed, if there's no new listings coming to the market, it only takes us half months to deplete all the inventory in the market. Let's just assume the demand remains the same, because we all know the price is the function of supply and demand. Let's not talk about the increased demand. Let's just imagine our demand remains constant as previous year, as last month. Just let's take a look. The relationship between price and supply. Okay, now let's take a look at this chart. Okay, so let's look at two sets of data. Each chart has 1 year's average sold price against that year's active listing, number of active listing. Let's first look at 2020, last year, a year before. So we can see that the average sold price is pretty much stable and flat. It's around 900,000 to slightly over 1 million. So that's the market for 2020. The supply was quite normal as well. When it's at the low time, we have about 8,000 properties available for sale. And at its peak, we see from August to October around 17,000, 18,000. Okay, that's 2020. Then we take a look at 2021. So we use two different axes. On the left side, this is the average sold price. On the right-hand side, this is the number of available listing. The scale is identical, so you can compare these two charts. Okay, now when we look at the 2021, you see the number of available listing. The peak time is just below 12,000 units, and it goes down ever since May, almost unstoppable. And in December, we hit the historical low, which is 3,200 units. All right. It is because of this never seen shortage in supply. It push up the price because buyers has to compete against each other in order to get their property. So you can see the lower the shortage, the lower the number of available listing is, the higher the price. Why we say the supply is so limited? Because if you compare with 2020, you can see this number. Almost whole year, our inventory is lower than 2020. Leave alone the Q3, Q4, quarter three, quarter four difference. The 18,000 compare with our current 3,000, 6,000. So just sense the tension of shortage of supply. I haven't talked about demand. I just mentioned, just assume the demand is constant. You will see how the shortage of supply drives up the competition of buyers, hence resulted in increased price. Then let's talk about demand. We all know that Canada is an immigrant country, and one of our major national policy, is to absorb talents from the whole world. Let's look at the website, see what we find here. This is a government official website. The title says, Canada welcomes the most immigrants in a single year in its history. So in 2021, we welcome 401,000 new permanent residents. Last line here is from our Minister of Immigration. This is a historic moment for our country as we welcome the highest number of newcomers in 1 year in our history. I can't wait to see the incredible contribution that our 401,000 new neighbors make in communities across the country. So you see all these over 400,000 immigrants, they need to find a place to settle. And Toronto is one of their most favorable choice. These people, when they settle down, they need to find a place to stay. And this create a surge of accommodation needs. So when we go back to look at this, before we talk about demand, just the supply already push up the property price. Now, if we add another force of increasing demand, so can you guess how the market is going to turn in 2022? I have my guess. What's yours? Leaving your comment. Looking forward to connecting with you soon in next video. Bye-bye.